Hello friends, very good afternoon. In the last lecture we can understand the basics of MEMS, that is micro electromechanical system. In this lecture we somewhat know about the MEMS manufacturing. So micro electromechanical system is a process technology used to create a tiny integrated devices or systems that combine the mechanical and electrical components. They are fabricated using integrated circuits, that is IC, using a batch processing techniques, and can range in size from a few micrometers to millimeters. These devices or systems have the ability to sense, control and actuate on the micro scale and generate effects on the micro scale. So MEMS takes advantages of either silicon's mechanical properties or both its electrical and mechanical properties. In the most general form, MEMS consist of mechanical microstructures, microsensors and microactuators and microelectronics, all integrated onto the same silicon chip. MEMS can be found in the systems ranging across automotive, medical, electronic, communication and defense applications. If semiconductor microfabrication was seen to be the first micro manufacturing revolution, MEMS is the second revolution. So what are the materials used? So substrate or wafer material. The most common substrate material for micro machining is silicon. It has been successful in the microelectronics industry and will continue to be in areas of miniaturization for several reasons. Like silicon is abundant, inexpensive and can be processed to unparalleled purity. Silicon's ability to be deposited in thin films is very amenable to MEMS. Third is high definition and reproduction of silicon device shapes using photolithography are perfect for high levels of MEMS precision. And last is silicon microelectronic circuits are batch fabricated. A silicon wafer contains hundreds of identical chips, not just one. So in short I say, other crystalline semiconductors including germanium and gallium, arsenide are used as a substrate materials due to similar inherent features, but silicon is distinguished from other semiconductors in that it can be readily oxidized to form a chemically inherent and electrically insulating surface layer of silicon oxide on exposure to steam. So additive films and materials are used in the MEMS. Like the range of additive films and materials for MEMS devices is much larger than type of possible substrate, and it includes conductors, semiconductors and insulators such as silicon or single crystal, polycrystalline and amorphous. Second is silicon compounds. Third is metals and metallic compounds. Fourth is ceramics, that is Al2O3 and more complex ceramic compounds. And finally organics like diamond, polymers, enzymes. So these are the additive films and materials are used in the manufacturing of micro electromechanical system, that is MEMS. So what is the basic process of manufacturing? So it starts from the deposition. We can deposit the material in two ways, as already discussed in the previous lectures, like physical deposition and chemical deposition. The physical deposition consists of a process in which a material is removed from a target and deposited on the surface. And in case of chemical deposition, the technique includes a chemical vapor deposition in which stream of source of gas reacts on the substrate to grow the material desired. So this is the first process, what we call as a deposition, chemical and physical deposition. Second step is patterning. So patterning of MEMS is the transfer of pattern into a material. So lithography is widely used process in patterning of MEMS. Examples you can say the photolithography or electron beam lithography, or ion beam lithography, like or ion track technology or X-ray lithography. These are the lithography techniques which can be done by using a patterning of MEMS. Third process is etching. There are two types of etching. One is wet etching and second is dry etching. So what is wet etching? Wet chemical etching consists in a selective removal of material by dipping a substrate into a solution that dissolve it. I will again tell you, wet chemical etching is the consist of selective removal material by dipping a substrate into a solution that dissolve it. So the chemical nature of this etching process provides a good selectivity. Second is dry etching. In case of dry etching, the vapor phase or plasma based methods of etching using a suitably reactive gases or vapors, usually at high temperatures. The most common form for MEMS is a reactive ion etching, which utilizes additional energy in the form of radio frequency power to drive the chemical reaction. So you can see over here, first is deposition, that is chemical or physical deposition with using a lithography, then etching, and last finally is what we call as a drying or packaging. So this is the general procedure or manufacturing procedure of MEMS: deposition, lithography, etching, drying, and then packaging. So you can go with three basic manufacturing processes apart from this, that is bulk micromachining, high aspect ratio micromachining, and surface micromachining. So what is a bulk micromachining? The bulk micromachining is the oldest micromachining technology, and this technique involves the selective removal of the substrate material in order to realize miniaturized the mechanical components. Bulk micromachining can be accomplished using a chemical or physical means, with chemical means being a far more widely used in the MEMS industry. So a widely used bulk micromachining technique is a chemical wet etching process, which involves the immersion of a substrate into a solution solution of reactive chemical that will etch exposed region of the substrate at measurable rates. So a chemical wet etching is popular in MEMS because it can provide a very high etch rate and selectively high rate of deposition. So furthermore, the etch rates and selectively can be modified by along with the alternatively chemically composition of the etch solution. So adjusting the etch solution temperature, modifying the dopant concentration of the substrate, and modifying which crystallographic planes of the substrates are exposed to the etchant solution. There are two general types of chemical wet etching in bulk micromachining: isotropic. There are two general types of chemical wet etching in bulk micromachine: isotropic wet etching and anisotropic wet etching. In isotropic wet etching, the etch rate is not depend on the crystallographic orientation of the substrate, and the etching proceeds in all direction at equal rates. In theory, lateral etching under the masking layer etches at the same rate as the etch rate in the normal direction. However, in practice, lateral etching is usually much slower without stirring, and consequently isotropic wet etching is almost always performed with vigorous stirring of the etchant solution. So any etching process requires a masking material to be used with probably a high selectivity relative to the substrate material. Common masking materials for isotropic wet silicon etching includes silicon dioxide and silicon nitride, where silicon nitride has a much lower etch rate compared to the silicon dioxide, and therefore it is more frequently used. So bulk micromachining involves the removal of part of bulk substrate. Look at this. This is the wet etching. I already explained. So wet etching describes the removal of material through an immersion of material, typically silicon vapor, in a liquid bath of a chemical etchant. These etchants can be isotrope or anisotrope. Look at this, for anisotrope, and this is for isotrope. Next is dry etching. So dry etching relies on the vapor phase of plasma based methods, etching using a suitably reactive gases or vapors, usually at high temperature. Look at this. This is high temperature. This is silicon. This is mask provided on the surface of silicon. The most common form of MEMS is reactive ion etching, which utilizes the additional energy in the form of radio frequency power to drive the chemical reaction. So energetic ions are accelerated towards the material to be etched within the plasma phase, supplying the additional energy needed to the reaction. As a result, the etching can occur at much lower temperature, near about 150 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius, sometimes room temperature, than those usually needed above the 1000 degrees Celsius. So RI is not limited. RI means reactive ion etching. Reactive ion etching is not limited by the crystal planes in the silicon, and as a result, deep trenches and pitches or arbitrary shapes with the vertical walls can be etched. Second is surface micromachining. So surface micromachining involves processing above the substrate, mainly using it is a foundation layer on which to build. So material is added to the substrate in the form of layers of thin films on the surface of substrate, typically silicon vapor. So these layers can either by structural layers or act as a spacers later to be removed when they are known as a sacrificial layers. Hence the process usually involves films of two different materials, like a structural material out of which the freestanding structure is made, and the silicon material or a sacrificial material deposited wherever either an open area or a freestanding mechanical structure is required for the sacrificial material, second material. So these layers are deposited and subsequently dry etched in the sequence, with the sacrificial material being finally wet etched away to release the final structure. So each additional layer is accompanied by a increasing level of complexity and resulting difficulty in fabrication. So here you can see a typical surface micromachined cantilever beam. Here a sacrificed layer of oxide is deposited on a silicon. Look at this layer, near about 1 to 3 micron. This is a structural layer. Sacrificed layer is deposited on the substrate surface using a pattern or photolithography. So a polysilicon layer is then deposited and patterned using RI process. Look at this. Look at this. A thin film deposition, then etching selectively is done over here. So a polysilicon layer is deposited and patterned using RI process to form a cantilever beam with an anchor pad. So the wafer is wet etched to remove the oxide layer releasing and leaving the beam of the substrate. So more complex MEMS structure can be achieved using the structural polysilicon and sacrificial silicon dioxide, including sliding structure, actuators and pre-moving mechanical gears. Next is high aspect ratio. So high aspect ratio micromachining is a process that involves micromachining as a tooling step followed by injection molding or embossing, and is required by electroforming to replicate microstructure in metal from molded parts. It is one of the most attractive technologies for replicating the microstructure at a high performance to cost ratio and includes techniques known as a LIGA. So products micromachined with these techniques include high aspect ratio fluidic structure such as moduled nozzle plates for inkjet printing and micro channel plates for disposable micro triplets in medical diagnostic applications. So the material that can be used are electroformable metals and plastics, including acrylate, polycarbonate, polyamide and styrene. Next is lithographic galvanoforming and ion forming, that is LIGA. So LIGA is a German acronym for lithographic galvanoforming and forming that describes a fabrication technology used to create a high aspect ratio microstructures. The technique employs X-ray radiation to expose a thick acrylic resist of PMMA under a lithographic mask. So the exposed areas are chemically dissolved, and in areas where the material is removed, metal is electroformed, thereby defining the tool insert for the succeeding moduling step. LIGA is capable of creating very finely defined microstructure up to 1000 micron, up to the 1000 micrometer high. So LIGA is limited by the need to have access to an X-ray facility. Here you can see the X-ray radiation on metal is done. So this is the first step where we have to develop electroped through a PPMA, develop a PPMA. We have to go through for the X-ray radiation, and you will get the separate material from the PPMA. So X-ray radiation is casted on sensitive PMA on a suitable substrate. A special X-ray mask is used for selective exposure of the layer using X-ray. The parts then developed will be defined with extremely smooth and nearly perfectly vertical sidewalls. The penetration depth of X-ray radiation into a layer is quite deep and allows exposure through very thick part layers up to exceeding 1 mm. After the development of the pattern, the parts act as a polymer mold and it is placed into an electroplating bath, and nickel is plated into the open areas of the part. So part is then removed, thereby leaving the metallic microstructure as you can see over here. So this is all about the what we call a manufacturing of MEMS. If you have any doubt, then let me know. Thank you.